Hello and welcome back to Algebra 1 Honors. This is now lesson 4-7, Transforming Formulas. Okay, there's a few things that we need to know when we translate formulas. They're going to give us a variable that they want us to translate the formula into. So we always have to be very, very careful that we read the problem and we know which variable we are looking for. For example, let's look at a simple problem. The area of a rectangle is length times width. So if I say area equals length times width, and right here they say find W. So what we have to do is we have to isolate the variable W, have W on one side and everybody else has to go on the other. So we kind of have to undo this side of the equation. And if I'm multiplying an L times a W, to undo this multiplication, I can divide by an L on both sides, and this will cross off, and I will actually get A over L equals W. I have solved for what they asked for W. And it works with a little more difficult problems. What you're going to try to do is undo your equation. So let's look at this one. The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So what we're looking for is to find H. Right, so we have the area equals 1/2 base times height. Everybody needs to go to the other side. Everybody needs to go to the other side, and H stays here. So let's look at this. If we want to get rid of that 1/2 first, we multiply both sides by a 2. Okay, and this is going to be a 2 here. So we're going to end up with 2 times A equals base times height. Now if you can kind of look down here, this is sort of the same situation where we had area equals length times width. To get the H by itself, all we have to do is divide both sides by B. So we're going to divide both sides by B, and we're going to find out that 2A over B equals H. Okay, we have now solved in terms of H. Now we come down here and we get a little bit more difficult, but we use the same exact method. In this case, we want to have R. But you see R is sandwiched in between 2 and an S. Well, we always do the same thing. We want to get anything that has R in it on one side, any term that has R in it on one side, and everybody else on the other. So that means I have to bring this guy over here, S squared, so I subtract S squared from here, and I end up with A minus S squared equals, and then over here I'm going to be ending up with just 2RS. Now, if I use the commutative property, I could put the R first, but what we're going to do is we're going to basically factor out the variable we're looking for. We're looking for R right here, find R. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this equation as A minus S to the second power equals, and I'm going to take my R out of here, 2 times S. And again, now we can again see how we can isolate our variable R from this equation. Because R is multiplied by 2S, to undo multiplication, we would do a division. So if we divide this side by 2S and this side by 2S, we'll be able to isolate the R, and that's what we're looking for. So we're going to divide this guy by 2S and this guy by 2S, and we find out that A minus S squared over 2S is going to be equal to R, and as you can see, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for R, and it's right here. Okay? Now, a lot of the problems, we have to undo the distributive property, and we call that getting the greatest common factor, factoring. So in this case, we're going to see what we have to do, but we're going to use all of the techniques that we've done in example 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to combine them in this problem. This problem has to be, is number 28 on page 166. Okay, so let me write that down. This is problem 28, and this is page 166. All right? So let me erase some of this. Okay. Now, the very first thing, if you look at this and analyze this problem, we have to say, what are they looking for? Okay? Well, it's not stated. So let's look at number 28 and see what they're looking for. They're looking for you to solve for small f. Okay, so we're going to write that down. Solve for, and it's small f. Okay? And if you can see, we have a small f here on top and a small f on the bottom. Not to worry. Okay, let's look at this problem. Since we have a denominator, we'd like to clear that denominator. And one way to get rid of a denominator is to multiply the top, the numerator, by that denominator. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say this. F equals Fg times, okay, F plus G minus D, all these guys together, over F plus G minus D. Okay, and because I did it to one side, I have to do it to the other. So I'm going to kind of move my F over a little bit, and I'm going to write F times F plus G minus D. Okay, whatever I do to one side, I multiplied it by the denominator here, and it canceled out. I had to do the same over here. So now I'm going to rewrite my equation, and it's going to say F times little f plus g minus little d equals, on this side, fg. Now, because we're looking for f, we have to ensure that we look for all the terms that f is contained in and put them all on one side, and everybody else, they have to go on the other side. So let's look here. Before we do this, we're going to go ahead and distribute this side of the equation. F times little f is going to be f little f, and we're going to have big Fg, and we're going to have minus big Fd. And on this side, we're going to have little fg. Now, how many little f's do I have? Well, I see one here, and I see one over here. So I have two. They need to be together. And everybody else needs to either be on one side or the other. So I'm going to bring this little f over here, and I'm going to send everybody else across, or I could do it the other way. Just bring this guy across. I'll get the same answer. All right, so let's look at it. I'm going to bring this guy over here, so I'm going to end up with big F, little f, minus little fg. Then I'm going to bring these guys over. This is going to be in positive fd minus fg. Okay, once I get to this part, and I have two f's, one in this one and one in this one, all I have to do is factor out one of my f's. Well, I'm going to factor it out, and I'm going to end up with f times f, big F minus g, equals big FD minus FG. Now again, how do I get the F by itself? Because the F is being multiplied by F minus G, all I have to do to get the F by itself is to do the inverse operation, which will be the division, and I'll divide it by F minus G, big F, and on the bottom I have to divide it by big F minus little g. Okay, this is going to cross off, and my answer to solve for f will be this. F will equal big F times little d minus big F times g over F minus g. And that's as far as you can go. And this is your answer. Okay? So that was number 28. That was probably one of the hardest ones in this lesson to do. And if you can grasp that, we used all those special techniques to solve this problem as we found in the first three examples. All right.